How to stop being lazy. The number one way to stop being lazy is to set yourself up so it's harder to be lazy than not. And what I mean by that is to set up your environment. A good example that I use is if you have a fridge full of junk food, uh, obviously it's going to be much harder to stick to a diet when it's so easily accessible and it's reminded of you every day. Doesn't help, obviously, that there's fast food places everywhere, but where it's so readily available and you actually have to use willpower to not eat it, versus if you had a fridge full of delicious, healthy food. So whenever you're hungry, you'd be much more inclined to eat what's in your fridge because you'd actually have to use willpower to go out of your way and get junk food. Therefore, you're setting yourself up for success and not failure, kind of flipping the script a little bit. And there's other ways you can use it with other goals and such in your life. You just have to get a little creative, but that's just the easiest example I could think of. The second way to prevent yourself from being lazy is begin the day with a low pleasure task. And what do I mean by that? Well, in the beginning of the day, if you start with a high pleasure task, it's really hard for your brain to go from like a higher state, a stimulant state, to a like reading a book or something with a lower state. However, if you start the day with a lower pleasure task, you can only go up. Your brain will only be happier afterwards, um, to do other things. And on top of that, you're gonna have the best like willpower to do it there and then. Because if you do anything else more rewarding, it's gonna be even harder. So start the day off with the hardest task that you can do. Um, Another thing for not to be lazy is keep thinking of the end, because the reason we're lazy is because we don't see the gratification for whatever we're pursuing, or at least instantly. However, we have to keep reminding ourselves of what it is exactly that is worth it for us to do it. So we keep thinking of the end in mind. Not only will we be thinking of what we should be doing, but we'll also put ourselves in a position where um, where we're constantly reminded of what exactly to do instead of not to do. And the last one I have for you is self guilt. And this is kind of a tricky one because it could work either way. With self guilt, you have to have some guilt because you have to take responsibility for not doing the things you have to do. However, you can't take it overboard and like just beat yourself up completely. So there's the fine line. However, you do have to be aware of certain things you have to do and have responsibilities to do, at least to yourself. And you have to take accountability for that. And you should feel bad when you don't do certain things. All right. Hopefully, this was informative. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you later.